Hey everyone, welcome back to another video of the foundation series. In the previous video, we talked about the importance of feet and ankles and how those are essentially the foundation of all lower body movements. And today I want to take it one step up the chain, focusing on the knees, talk about an issue that's very common, which is known as knee valgus, when the knee is caving inward. I will go over some exercises and basically explain why it can happen and what you can do about it. Let's get started. If you are struggling with knee valgus, it would look something like this on the way down. Knees are not going to stay in line. They're actually going to cave inward on the way down. Maybe not as extreme as I'm showcasing right now, but just so you can see the difference, you're essentially losing that lateral support and you are adding a lot of stress and tension onto your knees. Okay, another example is going to be during a leg pressing movement. A lot of people, you end up seeing the knees caving inward during a leg pressing movement, losing that lateral support, and then feeling usually a lot of pressure on the inside of the knee, especially if a lot of weight is involved. All right, so you might be asking, why do my knees actually cave in during certain movements? And the way you have to think about it is that the knee lies between two important anchor points, your feet and ankles, as well as your hip. Both combined help to keep the knee aligned and also help to determine where the knee goes during movement. So obviously we already talked about the feet and ankle in the last video. So if you are lacking stability or strength in those areas, definitely make sure to start there. However, if you feel like the issue might stem from lack of glute strength, lack of hip stability, then today's video is going to be for you, as we're going to be focusing a lot on strengthening and sort of activating those areas. Okay, so for the first exercise, lateral walks, I'm going to have you place a medium to heavy resistance band above the knees and then one below the knees, right along the shins, about calf level. And the goal during this exercise is obviously to engage the glutes. You're going to be feeling the craziest burn in your glutes if you perform these correctly. Okay, great way to activate and just start engaging the glutes, wake them up a little bit, especially if you have sleepy glutes. But make sure that throughout this whole exercise, otherwise you're defeating the purpose, you are keeping constant tension against the resistance. So before you get started, you're going to push out against the band. It should be one straight line of tension. Okay, you should be feeling tension on the outside of each leg all the way down to your ankles. Once you set up in this position, you're going to start moving laterally in small steps, making sure that for every step you're pushing out against the band. Okay, if you are losing tension either above or below the knee, we're just going to see that same issue with the knees. Okay, so you see a lot of people doing this exercise incorrectly. Okay, here, you're really not engaging anything. I don't feel my glutes. I don't feel anything working. But if I, bam, push against the band and start moving in slow steps, that's when my butt is on fire. Let me show you guys from the side view. So before you get started, push out against the band. And then I'm going to have you hinge back a tiny bit. Okay, like almost like a mini squat. And then from here, we're going to walk laterally. Small steps, because we want to keep constant tension on the band. Okay, we never want the band to get slack or feel loose. You can do about 2 to 3 sets of these. Like I said, higher rep. My butt is burning like crazy. But yeah, this is going to be the first exercise. Okay, now if you do want to perform the leg press and you notice the knees caving in, a great way to start practicing what it should feel and look like to keep your knees aligned during the movement is to place a resistance band around your knees, basically above the knees. And then as you are lowering the weight, you're going to be actively pushing out against the band. So as you're lowering, push out, push that band out, 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 out. And the same thing on the way up. So you never really want to lose tension. This is a great way to start really engaging the right muscles. No stress on the inside of the knee. And this is also a great way if you want to start adding some more weight, but you're worried about the knees, because it mentally also makes you feel a lot more secure. Okay, now for the final exercise, I'm going to be placing one of these exercise resistance bands against a pole and then loop it around my knee area. And I'm going to show a few different progressions, okay? So obviously, as you might see, the force is going to come from the inside. So obviously, we don't want the knee to be caving in. We're trying to prevent that. So by placing a band here, we are forced to activate the right muscles to keep the band from moving inward. So we're basically trying to withstand the tension. Now you can obviously just practice this movement right here. So you're just standing. This would be like the basic. Or if you want it to look a little bit more like a lunge, you can just kneel. And then from that kneeling position, back leg is touching the ground. You can start to just hold. So it can just be a static hold. Again, right now I'm just applying tension to the band. I'm trying to keep my knee over my toe, even though the band is really trying to pull me in. So I'm using a lot of glute right now and these outer muscles to hold the band out. This is a great way to start strengthening, to start creating that mind-muscle connection. And in this position, you are balanced. You can solely focus on your glutes working. Now, if you're a little bit more advanced, you can lift off the back leg and do a static hold that way. So a lot harder. You can do maybe bouts of 10 seconds or so, and then drop that knee, relax for a second, and then again, activate, lift off, static hold, burns like crazy, glutes on fire. Or if you really want to take it up a notch, we can obviously start making this dynamic. So you can just perform a regular backward lunge, making sure that you are pushing that band out, okay? Engaging the right muscles. This is a lot more difficult because there's a lot more balance involved. But again, if you are more advanced, perform these, incorporate some weights. And if you love Bulgarian split squats, you can perform the exact same setup and practice that way. Again, amazing way to really engage the glutes, especially if you're somebody who has a really hard time activating them during all these movements. And yeah, I'm out of breath, but that was good. My glutes are definitely on fire, and I hope that when you start performing these and doing them as I just showed you, that yours are going to be too. We want to be feeling all of these exercises in the glutes, or at least on the outside of your thighs, okay? So basically running along the outside from top to bottom. All right, we have reached the end of this video. Thank you again so much for watching. I hope that some of these tips were helpful. Make sure that you are performing and incorporating these exercises into your warm-up routine or just overall into your workout. Again, you can do some of these at home. You can start incorporating some of these in the gym. But I promise you, you will be seeing a drastic difference. You're going to feel overall stronger and more supported in your main compound lifts, which should always be the goal. And most importantly, you are working towards preventing injury down the line. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm excited for the next video. It's going to be all about hips, hip strength, hip mobility, how you can improve on that. Yeah, see you for the next one. Until then, stay fit and subscribe. Bye.